Hello friends, in this session I am taking doubts from this section compound interest and simple interest. Let's take the first question. If the difference between compound interest and simple interest on a certain sum of money for 3 years at 5% per annum is rupees 122, what will be the principal? Okay, now what is the formula for compound interest? We just go for a quick recap. Compound interest is P1 plus R by 100 raised to N minus B. This is what the compound interest. And what is the simple interest? That is PRT by 100, right? Now, in this case, the difference between compound interest and simple interest has been given, right? So precisely, you can take P as common. So I can take P common, that the value of P I have to find out. Now this is R and that is 5%. So 5 by 100, that is 0.05. So it is 1.05 and N is 3, right? P I am taking common, so it will be minus 1, right? So this is what the compound interest minus simple interest. Simple interest P I have already taken common. R is 3 and R is 5 and T is 3. So it is total 15 by 100. So that is 0.015. In fact 0.15, not 0, it's 0.15, right? And this is actually 122. Now there is none of these among the options, so this problem can be simply solved using digital root technique, right? Now P, we have to find out the value. 5, 6, do not consider the decimal. 6 cube, that is 216, the digital root will be 9. So this is 9 minus 1, 8, 8, and the digital root of this is a 5 plus 1, 6. So 8 minus 6, digital root is 2 over here. And this side the digital root is 2 plus 2, 4 and 1, 5, right? So we wish to have P, so we can multiply that by 2 and in the final answer the digital root must be 5, right? So you just check 6 and 1, 7. 7 2s are 14, 14, that means digital root is 5. So this one is correct choice, right? And if you wish to gain confidence, you can take other options as well. This is multiple of 9 and if you multiply any number with 9, then the digital root will be still 9. So, and we want digital root to be 5. So this one is incorrect. 2 into 2, 4. This is 8 and 1, 9. 8 and 4, 12 and 6, 18. It is multiple of 9. 5 and 5, 10 and 1, 11. It is 2 to 2 into 2, 4. So undoubtedly this is the correct choice. No need to go for any calculation. Okay. So unit digit method and digital root method will be used a lot many times in the solving the problems based on compound interest and simple interest, right? So you must be having good grip. Let's take the next one. Now see this problem. Madhu took a loan of rupees 20,000 at 5% SI for 2 years and invested it at 4% CI for same period. What is her gain loss in the transaction? See, 5% SI for 2 years, that means for 2 years total interest as a simple interest is 10%. Now 10% of 20,000 is 2,000, right? So at the end of 2 years Madhu has to return 2,000 rupees, right? She is taking a loan of 20,000, so after 2 years as a simple interest she needs to return 22,000, or as an interest 2,000 rupees she has to return, right? Now what is her income? Let's calculate. 4% CI for the same period. Now CI is actually what? It is see, for first year it is simple interest, for the next year it is interest on interest, right? So precisely for 2 years she'll be earning 8%, right? For first year 4%, for second year 4%. So 4 plus 4, 8%. 8% of 20,000 is what? 1,600, right? So she is earning 1,600 plus a nominal amount of 4% on 800. That is interest on interest of first year. First year's interest was 800. 800 in the second year she'll earn 4% interest on this 800 also. So 4% of 800 is 32 rupees. So precisely she is earning 1,632 rupees in 2 years period when she is investing at 4% CI. right? Now she has to give 2,000 rupees and she is earning 1632 rupees. So precisely 368 rupees she is making a loss, right? And you must be knowing the difference between simple interest and compound interest, right? Compound interest is nothing but interest on interest, right? For the second year, if we talk about the compound interest is calculated as interest on principal plus interest on interest, right? So if you know this difference, you'll be able to solve this problem verbally. No need to go for any sort of paperwork. Okay, so your answer is rupees 368 loss. Now this problem, Amit takes a loan from a bank at 18% CI for 2 years. At the end of the period, he pays back rupees 6962. What was the loan amount? Now that's pretty simple. The formula for amount will be, or you can say P is the principal, and 18% for 2 years, so it is 1.18 square, and that is actually 6962. Now you have two options. Either you go for digital root technique, and you have to verify once you get the correct answer, because we have the option none of these also over here. Now in the left hand side, the digital root is 819 and 110, that is digital root is 1. So P into 1, and here on this side it is 12 into 14, that is 5, right? So P must be 5, then only 5 into 1 must be 5, right? So principal is should be 5,000, right? In all other cases we will not be able to get the digital root as 5 after multiplying by 1, right? So 5,000 seems to be correct answer, but we need to verify, right? So if 5,000 is the principal, just listen to me carefully, 18% CI for 2 years, right? So if we take simple interest, so 18% per annum for 2 years, it will be 36%. So 36% of 5,000 is 1800, right? So it is around 6800, right? And this difference is because of compound interest, that is 18% on first year's interest, 18 into 9. So that will come to 162. So the calculation is being matched over here. So pretty simple, the answer will be 5,000, right? So when you have option as none of these, go for cross verification to be 100% sure, because it would hardly take any time, right? This problem can be solved in less than I can say 1 minute. I hope you are clear. Now this problem, if the simple interest on a sum of money for 3 years at 5% per annum is 1200, then the compound interest for the same period at the same rate is, okay, again the problem is simple. See, 3 years at 5% per annum, simple interest is 1200. Now simple interest remains same every year. That means for 3 years it is 1200, that means per annum it is 400. Right? So in the first year simple interest is 400, and that is actually 5% of the principal. That means principal is 8,000, right? 5% of 8,000 is 400, right? So 400 for the first year, second year and third year. Now as far as simple interest is concerned, it is same every year. And now if we talk about compound interest, it will be simple interest plus interest on interest of previous year, right? So it is 400. Then we have this 400 plus 5% of this 400, right? That is interest on this interest. This 400 is simple interest, and 5% on this interest, so it will be 20 rupees, right? Then for the third year we have interest on this, so that is 5%, interest on this, that is 5%, plus interest on this interest extra. So 20%, 5% of 20 is 1. So apart from 1200 we have 20, 20, 20, that is 61. So 1261 is your answer. Okay. So the problem is very simple. If CI for a certain sum at 3% for 2 years is rupees 203, what would be the simple interest? Okay. In case of compound interest problem, whenever you see this absurd figure like 203 over here, so just you can take a chance of assuming it to be 200 as simple interest for 2 years, right? Just listen to me carefully. Instead of 203, I assume that 203 is actually compound interest, so I assume simple interest is 200, right? Now I just verify 200 is for 2 years, that means 100 is for first year and 100 is for second year. Now if I wish to see whether this is true or not, that means if this is true, then if I take compound interest on the same amount, I should be getting 203, right? So what will be compound interest? That is interest on interest. So this 100 rupees is simple interest for the second year, plus interest on this 100 rupees will be calculated extra, right? So that is actually 3 rupees, as 3% is a rate of interest. So it is coming out of 203. So that's verified. That means your answer is 200 rupees. Okay. And this sort of problems, actually they do not need even paperwork, right? Whenever you see this absurd data, just take a chance of eliminating this, right? If it is compound interest portion, that simple interest portion must be around 200. Right, you should take a chance, right? And after that you just go for the cross verification, and if it is verified, definitely it will just mark the answer. I hope you are getting me. Now, at what rate of compound interest per annum will a sum of rupees 1200 becomes 1348 in 2 years? Okay, so precisely the difference is around 148.32 rupees in 2 years. So around 70 rupees per annum is being added. Now what I do is I just go by option, right? So it is 1200, right? So 1200, 7% for first year, so it must be 84, and for the second year, if we just go for even simple interest, it is 84, so it is actually 168, but we want 148, so it cannot be the correct choice, right? Suppose I take 6%, so it will be 72 for the first year, 72 for the second year, and it is around 144, so we are coming closer. And because of compound interest of on 72, if it is 6%, so 6 sevens are 42, something 4 or 5 rupees will be more, so that is satisfying over here, right? This is 144, and some 4 or 5 rupees more will be added due to 6% interest on this amount. So this is correct choice, right? So that's pretty simple. The simple interest on a sum of money for 3 years is rupees 360, and the compound interest on the sum at the same rate for 2 years is rupees 270, the interest rate per annum. Okay, pretty simple. See, for 3 years the sum, the interest is 360, that means it is 120 rupees per annum, right? Now we can go for the verification of compound interest, right? So for 2 years simple interest will be this, and compound interest is actually interest on this amount, right? So that is actually 30 rupees. Then only it will become 270 rupees, right? So precisely 120 is 30 is what percent of 120? So that is 25%. So as simple as that. Because what is compound interest? That is interest on interest of first year, right? Interest on interest of first year. So first year's interest is 120 rupees, and the interest is 30 rupees because total is 270. This is simple interest, this is simple interest, and this is interest on interest, and that is 25% of 120, right? So I hope you are clear. The least number of complete years in which a sum of money put out at 20% compound interest will be more than double is. Now for this question you don't even need paperwork, paper and pen. See, 20% per annum, if at all we take simple interest, in that case 20% per annum, that means in 5 years it will be 100%, right? So in case of simple interest the amount will be double in 5 years, right? So these options are useless. Now in case of simple interest the amount is getting doubled in 5 years, right? So even this is useless, right? So in case of compound interest this doubling will be done in some less amount of time, I can say. So that will be definitely 4 years. Okay, because in case of 3 years it is just as far as simple interest is concerned it is just 60%. So if at all we add compound interest portion, still it will not be able to reach to 100%, right? So 4 is the correct choice. Okay, now this problem, a sum of money amounts to rupees 4624 in 2 years and rupees 4913 in 3 years at compound interest. The sum is, see here also there is none of these, and just listen to me carefully. First of all, see, from second year to third year, right, in 1 year the addition is 624 913, it's around 300, approximately it is 290, right? Approximately 290 is the amount which is getting added to this amount in 1 year, right? That means if at all we take very simple calculation, so in 2 years, if each year 290 is added, that means in 2 years 580 must be added, right? At least 580, right? I'm not even taking the compound interest portion. If at all we take simple interest also, then also 580 must be added to the initial figure, that is a principal. So principal plus 580, around 580. 580 is not actual figure, do not get confused, but principal plus 580 must be this figure, right? So 580 is around 600, so your answer must be around 600 less than this, right? Around 600 or maybe 580 less than this. So among the option you just have one option, that is around 590 or 600 less than this. All other options are just getting a difference of 300 to 400, not more than that, and which is not possible, because in 1 year if 300 is added, that means in 2 years around 600 should be added. Okay, and once again I'm just taking this as a tentative figure, because the portion difference between these two is inclusive of compound interest portion also. So it is just an approximate calculation that the difference should not be less than 500 between this and the initial figure. Okay, otherwise it will be a time consuming process for you to solve. Okay, and since there is none of these, so you don't have to worry. And other options are quite far. Okay, you can see the least which is closer to this is 96 and it is 210. So 210 and 624, it's around, the difference is around 400 only, right? So I hope you are getting me. If the difference between the compound interest compounded half yearly and the simple interest on a sum at 10% per annum for 1 year is rupees 25, then the sum is, okay, you just can go by options. Just take a simple option, that is 10,000, and we just go for the verification. Let's see what happens. 10,000 at 10% per annum simple interest, the interest will be 1,000 rupees, right? And if it is a compound interest compounded half yearly, then for first 6 months the interest will be 5%, so that is 500 rupees, and for the second half it will be 500 plus 500 interest on this, 5% interest on this first half yearly interest, so that is 5% of 525 rupees. So it is actually 1025, it is 1000. So the difference is 25 and that is matched. So it is the correct choice, right? If it is difference is more or less, according to that you need to choose the next option to be or I can say for verification. Okay. A man lends rupees 10,000 in 4 parts and gets 8% on 2,000 rupees, 7.5% on rupees 4,000, 8.5% 1,400. What percent must he get for the remainder if his average annual interest is 8.13? Right, now the calculation is very simple. 10,000 is the amount and he wants 8.13% return. That means 813 rupees he wants, right? 813. Okay, 2,000 rupees, 8% per annum interest, it is 160 rupees. 7.5% on 4,000 rupees, it must be 300 rupees. Then 8.5% on rupees 1,400, that means 14 into 85, 8.5. So 140 plus, 112 plus 7, it's 119. Right, and total amount is 4,000 plus 2, 6,000, 6,000 and 7,400. So he is left with 2,600. Okay, and interest he has earned is 97345. 579 he has already earned out of 813. So remaining amount he has to earn from this 2600. Okay. So the difference is 579 813 213 plus 21 234, right? So 26 into 10 is 260, so 260 minus 26 9, so 9% he should get for the remainder. Okay, pretty simple. Now this question, I buy a watch for rupees 400 and sell it for rupees 460 at a credit of 8 months. Okay, just a moment. What is my gain percent considering interest rate to be 15% per annum? Okay, he is selling the watch at rupees 460 and for a credit of 8 months. That means he'll be taking money after 8 months and he'll be taking 460 rupees, right? That means in this cost he has to add the cost or he has to add interest also, right? Now interest for 8 months will be what? Say 15% is for 12 months, right? So it is 5%, 5%, 5% for each 4 months. So in 8 months there are 4 months. So in all the rate of interest will be 10%. So 400 is his basic cost plus 10% is the rate of interest. So in all his cost is 440 rupees and he is selling it for 460 rupees. So he's basically earning 20 rupees on 440, right? So that's something around 4 less than 5, 11 fives are 4 point something percent. So this is the correct choice. Okay, I just explain it once again. See, he is giving the watch on credit. That means he will take the money after 8 months. That means he's losing the interest portion, right? So basically he has bought the watch for 400 rupees plus he is losing the interest of 40 rupees, right? 8 months. For 12 months interest is 15%, so for 8 months it will be 10%. That means his basic cost is 400 plus interest is 40 rupees. So basically the watch cost him 440 rupees, right? And he is selling it for 460 rupees. Okay, so 20 rupees is the profit over cost, that is 440. So in all the rate of interest the gain percent will be 4 something percent. Okay, I hope you are clear. What is the sum which when lent at 5% SI for 2 years would yield 154? Now that's very simple problem. 5% per annum, that means for and simple interest remains same every year. So 5% for first year, 5% for second year, that means in all 10%. Now 10% is 154, that means the entire amount is 1540. Okay, that's pretty simple. Now this one, I owe you rupees 1500 to be payable 4 years from now. What is the equivalent cash payment that I can make now? Prevailing rate of interest is 6.25% per annum. So 6.25% per annum, that means for 4% it will be 6 into 4 plus 0.25 into 4, that is 25%, right? So equivalent cash, that means you have to find out the figure in which you add 25% and you get 1500. Right, so that's 1200 only, because 1200 plus 300 is 1500 and 300 is 25% of 1200. So no need to go for any sort of paperwork. This 1200 will be the correct choice. Okay, pretty simple. Find the difference between SI and CI on rupees 700 at the rate of 10% for 3 years. Now you can go either way, either you just use the formula or you just use, or you can do it directly, right? See, SI will be what? 70 rupees per annum, right? So 70, 70, 70, right? So 210 will be simple interest. In case of compound interest, what will be there? This 70 rupees plus 10% of this. So that is this additional income. Additional amount. Then in the second year it is 10% on this, 10% on this, plus 10% of this. So 10% of 7 rupees is 70 paisa, right? So difference is 21 rupees 70 paisa. Okay, pretty simple. So if you have the figures like 10%, 20%, 5%, then do not go for formula, just do it directly. It will be easier for you. Okay. Now, if CI for a certain sum for 2 years at 2% per annum be rupees 1010, what will be the principal? 1010, again I just can see this 10 rupees, it's bit absurd. So if it is not compound interest, I can assume 1000 rupees to be simple interest. Okay, I'm just assuming it, not very sure. Let me do the calculation. So for 2 year 2% rate of interest, that means it in all it is 4%, right? So 4% of which is around 1000 rupees. So I just can tentatively say 25,000, right? 25,000, 4% will be 1000 rupees, right? So 25,000 for first year, it will be at 2% of interest, it will be 500. For second year, it will be 500, but we have to take the compound interest portion. So 2% additional on this 500. So it is 1010. So simply 25,000 is the correct choice. Okay. In 30 to 40 seconds, you should be able to solve this sort of sums. Okay, so we have done good number of problems from simple interest and compound interest. All the problems were sent by a student. Good number of students find this topic to be difficult, but from my side it's really very easy. Okay, because whenever we have options in case of simple interest, compound interest problems, it's hardly you will face any problem. And they are least time consuming. Not even a single problem will take more than a minute of yours. Okay, so in your examination, do attempt the problems from simple interest and compound interest. Okay, do revise this session, and I have already taken good number of sessions on simple interest and compound interest. Do revise them also, right? And one more suggestion over here is that, so before you come for any sort of doubt solving sessions, do attend the basic sessions, because time in again I'm not going to explain the basics, right? So if you are not clear with the basics, you'll find difficult to apply the tricks. Okay, so bye bye.